Hello everybody, this is a tutorial for Enemy by Wage War. The tuning is drop A sharp. To help you better to learn the song, you should go to my actual cover, slow it down on YouTube, and follow along that way. But without further ado, we're going to jump into an in-depth tutorial. Okay, so the main riff is actually really straightforward if you understand natural harmonics. So I'm just going to play it slowly and then I'll explain. So that high-pitched note you're hearing is a harmonic on the 3rd string. I'm taking my ring finger and hovering over the 3rd fret. Now when I say 3rd fret, I mean that actual metal bar. I'm not playing it like you would if you were pressing down. I'm hovering over the metal bar and maybe a little bit in front. So like right there. And obviously turn distortion on when you're trying to find this note. And if this is too hard to play in the context of the song for you, I would really recommend that you practice it like a lot. Play it slowly at first once you find it. But the rest of the song does use a lot of these, and the main riff here is practically built off this one natural harmonic. So picking wise, on the 6th string here, we're starting off on the 1st fret, pulling off to the 0 and then throwing in a palm mute. And then obviously that's when the harmonic comes. And so that's kind of like phase 1, and then phase 2 is a little bit different on the 6th string. So instead of doing this, we do this. So this is just playing the 1st fret, pulling off, hammering on, and then pulling off again. And it's in that rhythm. It's kind of an offbeat rhythm. So it goes da 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 da, and then the harmonic again. So all together. And then we kind of like pretend we're going to do phase 1 again after that, but then we go to a harmonic up here, which is incidentally the same harmonic that actually starts off the song. I failed to mention. So to start off the song, we just go. And you can think of this as if you were playing a power chord on the 5th fret, but just hover over the strings and then make sure you're on the metal bar here, just hovering. And I'm mostly hitting the 6th string, but I'll occasionally like swoop down to the 5th and 4th string here. So all together, I guess I'll just play it from the top. So that's kind of like what I was just talking about. So it goes pick here, pull off, and then play this twice. Phase 1 just repeats itself, so it goes, and then it kind of teases phase 2, so it pretends to do the whole, but it only plays the first 2 notes, and then it goes to power chords here on the, so a power chord on the 4th fret, just your simple barred power chord, and I'm playing this with my middle finger so that I can easily go down to the 3rd fret power chord with my index, but you can play both with index if you're a scrub. And then the open. And then after that the whole thing repeats itself, everything we just did, so that's what we did, and then we do it again. But instead of going to this, we go up to this. It's just swapping out the last power chord. And that's the main riff, that's it. You could go back and like watch me playing it again, but I'm not going to waste any more time on it because the verse is up next, and it's a lot harder to explain. Yay! Okay, so I'm just going to play the verse slowly, and then I'll, again, go through it. The picking is kind of hard, so watch this hand carefully. And and that repeats 4 times, with the 4th time it ends differently, which is pretty common in metal and metalcore. So I guess really the only thing to explain here is the picking. So we're starting off with a palm mute and then doing 2 upstrokes. All the upstrokes here are like mostly going to be accented. So starting off like this, and then we play an upstroke that is actually palm muted. It's the only one though. So, and then a downstroke that's also palm muted. So, and then we do the whole again. And then another upstroke. Whoops. Oh, not another upstroke. Okay, and then we do, so then we go to a palm muted downstroke, and then it's all pretty quick, so I'll explain the rhythm in a minute, but we go to this harmonic again on the 5th fret here, same as before. So let me play that slowly again. So it's just all downstrokes. But instead of going to this harmonic here at the end, we go to this power chord on the 1st fret and just do down, up, down, up. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So all together again. And then that's the 4th time, so we do. And that's the end of the verse. Alright, so the pre-chorus is like the hardest part of the song in my opinion, because you're going to have to do this harmonic, but with your pinky, and right after it you're going to have to do same type harmonic but on the string right above it, so the 4th string. So, and there's like no other way to play this easily that I know of. I mean, I guess you could just play the actual notes, but that just sounds bad, let's be honest. So I'm gonna play it slowly. Picking again is hard, so it's basically the worst of both worlds with the verse and the main riff. Alright. But I mean, you only repeat it once and there's no modifications to it, so I'll just go through it real quickly. So most of this is all palm muted, starting on the 1st fret. So we hit that once and then palm mute twice, like down up on 0. So and then we go back to the 1st fret and pull off. So, and then with an upstroke that's accentuated, you just hit 0. And then repeat it. And then down, up, and then you get ready to do your harmonics. I'm using my pinky, ring finger if you want. Wow, that's actually cleaner. I might do that now. Yeah, you use your ring finger, guys. So next is the chorus, and instead of playing it slowly, I feel like it's more efficient to just explain it right off the bat. So we're gonna go through a power chord on the 8th fret here. Hit it once, go down to 7, 5. Now stay on 5, but add in this note here on the 3rd string, which is on the 7th fret here. So it's just the octave of this. You're not actually changing the chord at all, you're just changing the highest note. So that picking is pretty simple. It's just all on the open 6th string. So down, down, up, and then up again, but it's palm muted. So, and then do it again. And now we're gonna go to a major chord. In this case, technically it's an A sharp major. So open on 6th string, 5th string on the 5th fret, and then 4th string on the 4th fret. It's confusing. So and then for the final time we're wrapping up the chorus, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then down. So the chorus in its entirety goes like this. So that sounds like this. And I'm using the middle finger because like you need to, because there's a lot of quick power chord changes throughout all of this, and unless I specify otherwise, these are power chords I'm talking about. So now we're kind of in the breakdown. So what happens is we hit this power chord on the 4th fret, and then we do an upstroke, and then right after the upstroke we hammer on to the 5th fret power chord and pull off to the 3rd fret. So, and that repeats for 5 times because it doesn't fall on the first beat of every measure. So that was the 5th time, and then after you play it 5 times it goes. So after you play it 5 times, it goes on the 4th fret, palm mute up, down, up, and then hit the 5th fret, open, hammer onto the 1st fret, pull off, and then hit the 3rd fret of the 6th string. I don't think this is actually a power chord, but I mean, it won't kill you if you play a power chord there. So all together. And then obviously it starts over again. So if that's tricky for you, slow it down a lot, because I guarantee you it's easier than you think. So it's just that, and then just repeat that. And with practice you'll get it up to speed. So the second time through is like just the same, but it doesn't end with this. Instead it ends with, so that's power chords on the 7th fret and then the 10th fret. And I'm using my pinky to play this power chord, strengthened with my ring finger, I guess. But I mean, you could just so yeah. Then it does that again. So like it does the whole repeating thing, and then it ends with this, and then it does it again and ends with this. So let's say that's 2 times through. It does that again, so it does it 4 times and alternating the endings. So the 1st and 3rd endings are, and the 2nd and 4th endings are, and then I think that whole thing repeats, I'm pretty sure. But like, it's pretty simple to figure out if you listen to the actual song, so I'm being lazy. And then after the final time it does this, final ending, we're going to key change down to the 1st fret power chord instead of the 4th. So we're going from this down to this. Everything stays the same. So it goes like this. We do have to change some things though. So obviously you're not going to fret the 0th fret. So you just play that, hammer on with your middle finger to the 2nd fret, and then pull off to open. So really it's easier. And then this part is just like this part. But obviously we can't like shift that down anymore, so we have to play it on the 6th string instead of the 5th string. So we start on the 4th fret, not power chords here, hammer on to the 5th, pull off back to the 4th, and then pull off to open. And then that repeats again. And then so instead of, we obviously shift that down to be on the 4th fret, and then going up to the 7th fret. So right after that, chorus hits. It's exactly the same, but there are 2 slight differences. So the first is that, well, actually, we're looping the entire thing, so it's going to be twice as long as when we did the chorus originally. So instead of like ending it like this, we just keep the down up until like it covers the whole measure. So let me demonstrate. And then that's when it just loops again. But when it loops again for the 2nd time in this case, you're not going to do the chug stuff that you did previously, so it's not going to go... It's just going to be the regular... again, so yeah. And then you end it just like this again. So it doesn't cut short like it is in the beginning of the song. And then we do a clean part, which is probably where most of you guys are coming from, because it's kind of hard to learn by ear, so let's just hop over. Bam, we got some clean sounds. So, we're going to plop down this A minor bar shape here on the 5th fret. So if you don't know what that is, I'll put a diagram on the screen, or you can look it up yourself if I'm lazy. So we play the 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, and then 2nd string. So we're just arpeggiating it. Alternate picking, and everything is palm muted except for the last note of every phrase. So in this case, the 2nd string doesn't get a palm mute. Oh, it does, but I pull my hand off, so and I let that ring out. And then we change shape. So we take our pinky off of the 7th fret of the 3rd string and we stick it on the 8th fret of the B, not the B in this case, but the 2nd string here. And we're not even going to worry about the 3rd string at all because we're not going to play. And this is where you really need this barred, because we're going to play the 1st string here in a minute. So 5th string, 4th string, 2nd string, and then the 1st string. So all together we have, and then we do this again, and we change shape here. So we're going to put our pinky on the 8th fret of the 4th string, our ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and our index finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. And we're going to have our middle finger ready here to hammer on the 2nd string to the 6th fret. So 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, hammer on, or actually I would pick that, so, and then let it ring out. So all together. And then we change shape again, so we just with our pinky and ring finger. So we take them off, put the pinky where the ring finger was, and then put the ring finger right above it on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and then we kind of have this partial A minor shape type deal. And that's the same as this bar chord we were doing earlier, except that it's not a bar chord anymore. So, and we don't actually need to worry about the 1st string. So now we hit the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and then we pull off to the 5th fret of the 2nd string with our index finger here. So, like this. So this part has a lot of different layered guitars. First I'm going to be teaching you the power chords behind the first part of this, which is really simple. It's just take your this kind of power chord thing on the so play this like not the barred power chord, but you know what I'm talking about, the other one. Play it on the 5th string, so this is the same as, it's just an octave up. Alternatively, you could do this, but I think this sounds better. So play this, just down up strums as hard as you can. Go down to the 1st fret here. We're not playing the 6th string at all. Get that out of there. Get that out of your minds. So I'm actually muting it with the with my middle finger here. That's why it looks like I'm playing on it. Back up. Back down. So we cut that in half and then play this, which is like the same. It's the same shape, but we're obviously not going to fret the 0th fret here, so I just play it like this. Make sure you don't get the B, not the B string, the 2nd string in here, because that would make it major, and that would make this whole thing harmonic minor, which is cool, but it's not what it is. So, all together. And on top of that, there's a guitar doing like a secondary rhythm part, and that's what I would do if I was like playing it all with one guitar, because it's more interesting. So we have kind of this shape, and you need to understand. Well, first of all, we're just doing the 4th string and the 4th string and the 2nd string here, nothing else. So you need to understand that these are octaves of each other. These are octaves of each other. So the 7th fret of the 4th string and the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So we're going to actually start open 4th string and hammer on to the 7th fret. So, and then we go up to the 10th fret here, which is the octave again. And we just repeat that kind of like we did the whole, we just repeat this. So. And you could hear a little bit that at the end there, it was ringing out. That's not what you want. You don't want this, because then the 2nd string just drowns everything out. So what I do is I'm actually kind of like almost palm muting this whole thing, but it's at the point where I can mute the 2nd string whenever I start to play the 4th string again. And it's hard to explain, but like that. So I kind of have to move my wrist a little bit, my whole arm actually. So after I hit the 4th string, I kind of go down. And once I hit the 2nd string, I'm actually muting it a little bit. So that's the 5th time through. I'm just alternate picking that note again, and then we just slide everything up a fret. Everything's the same. And then back down. And then now we're gonna stay in this position with the pinky here, but we're gonna hammer on the 8th fret instead. Oops. And then we go back to that. So So instead of hitting this twice at the end of everything, we're cutting it in half, so we kind of have to do stuff to compensate for that. So at the end there, it's just, and then at the end, to match everything up with the time. And that is that. So now we hit the best part of the song, one of the best wage war moments, and one of the best moments on my channel. I got goosebumps even going back and listening to it. So there's 4 layered guitar parts. Obviously you can't play them all at the same time in real time, but I'll teach you each one. First I'm going to teach you the one I would recommend to play, like if it was the only one you could play, which is the chugginess, which goes like this. So starting out on the open power chord here, we go down, up, down, and then so down and then up and then down again, and then we do the chug again, and then quick down, down, and like all this is palm muted, so, and that's that. So learn that. So and then you do a chord change, go to this power chord which we discussed earlier. It starts on the 1st fret of the 5th string, and then 3rd fret of the 4th string, and 3rd fret of the 3rd string. And we do the same exact thing, but we don't. After you do that, we do an upstroke, then downstroke, and then I'll just play it. So da 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 da. And then back down to this. So that's all the same picking, but we're going from this shape down to this, which again we discussed earlier. So and that repeats. Now, the second time, the second guitar in this is the one we already learned. So it's just, it's this that from the previous section, that just carries over and that just plays. Now, the third is the harmony of that. So instead of doing this, we leave the 4th string the same, but instead of playing the 10th fret of the 2nd string, we're just going to play the 10th fret of the 3rd string now. So, and when we switch up to this, instead of doing, we got to play the harmony on the 3rd string, which would be the 12th fret. So yeah, that just plays alongside the main kind of, and it provides the harmony for that. So the melody of, I guess you could say this is a breakdown, it's just going to be on the 2nd and 1st strings. Forget about everything else. We're starting on the 2nd string, the 15th fret here, but really just think of it as the 3rd fret, an octave up. So I'm going to play it all slowly and hopefully you can pick up some stuff. There are going to be some bends because I like bends. So here we go. So it's a half step bend from the 5th fret to the 6th fret, and then back. So, and then get ready for another half step bend, but it's a ghost bend. So we're starting on the note we want to bend down from. So it sounds like this, and I'm actually kind of waking into that with that was a nice pinch harmonic. But that's why I'm using my thumb here. You're like, Dr. E, that's such poor technique. No, I'm actually like muting all the other strings right now. So all together. Alrighty. Alright, so the outro is on a clean channel, and much like the clean section we had earlier, it uses the same partial chord shapes. So this is the A minor one. Like, it's not actually an A minor, but it's the A minor form. So here's a close-up. And so we're going to do the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string. Not actually going to worry about the 1st string now. Instead, we're going to move our index finger to the 5th fret of the 2nd string. So once we hit those 3 notes, we take our middle finger off and get ready for the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then back to the 6th fret. So fifth fret, 6th fret, 5th fret, and then back down to 7th fret, 3rd string. But we only do that the one time, so. And then change to this kind of like F major 7th type shape if you want to be a nerd. But we're not going to worry about the 2nd string for now, and we are going to put our middle finger on the 6th fret here, leaving our index finger here because we're going to play that note too. So 4th fret, 3rd fret, 4th string, 3rd string, and then 1st string on the 6th fret. All this is alternate picked. And then down to the 5th fret. But instead of going to the 7th fret 3rd string like you might expect, we actually go to the 8th fret of the 2nd string. So you're going to have to actually take your fingers off to hit that note. So, and then back to our original shape, same exact thing. And then we go to this shape again, but instead of hitting the 6th fret here like we did last time, we're going to straight go to the 5th fret. And then change back to this shape, hit the 4th string, 3rd string, and then hop down to the 3rd fret here of the 1st string, and then hit the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and then from the 3rd string slide up to the 5th fret. So all together. And that's pretty much it. I added the melody back at the end. I forget if the actual song actually has this, but I just did this again with the clean setting instead of the distorted one. And you'll notice I got rid of the bends and just replaced them with the actual notes. So yeah, that is the song like completed. Now I'm gonna run through the melody real quick. And when I say melody, I really just mean lead guitar, let's be honest. So for the verse, there's a kind of lead that goes on. It's just these like octave notes of each other. So I'm on the 7th fret of the 3rd string and the 10th fret of the 1st string. The octaves, same note. And I'm just like strumming that. And then I go up a fret, everything. And that's all just down up strums. And you can like go to my actual cover to see like the rhythm of that and how it's divided up among the bars. It's really simple to learn by ear, so that's the notes of it though. So now for the melody of the chorus. So we're going to be starting on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, going to the 8th fret of the 1st string, 8th fret of the 2nd string, slide up to the 10 of the 2nd again, then 11th fret, pull off to 10 on the 2nd string. So all together. We're strumming this, and then we shift it up for this kind of second measure, but we leave our index finger there. So we just take our pinky, shift it up a fret to the 11th fret. So lovely dissonance. So far we have and then we do this part again, but instead of like doing all that, once we slide up, we just go right down to this shape, which is just the 3rd and 2nd strings barred on the, oh wait, you don't have to bar it if you don't want to. It's just the 7th fret on the 3rd and 2nd strings, and we're just like lightly strumming that. So all together. And you'll notice we end that on the 11th fret of the 3rd string the last time we do it. And that's that. Alrighty, so that's the end of the tutorial. If it was helpful to you at all, leave a comment, let me know, make my day, and consider subscribing to the Fretboard Lab. So obviously, if you have any questions, like, let me know. Yeah, I really hope this helped. Catch you later.